Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Brickanista Broadcast Network here on YouTube. And this is awesome because you already know that we've already gone through LEGO Masters Season 3, and all the spoilers are out there. But we weren't able to interview these contestants when the show was going on, and they've been so busy, and they've been able to carve out a little bit of their time for us. And I'm really, really excited to invite them onto the show. And Remy will not be joining us today, but this is a Builder Insights show. So many of you know I've been doing the Builder Insights show for about a year or so, where we actually interview some builders out in the AFOL community and ask them about a little bit about their background, about their techniques, etc. So I am super, super excited to welcome Emily Geddes to the stream. Hello, how's it going? Yeah. And of course, David too. How's it going, Dave?
Hello.
We were talking right before the stream that we are really going to be sad to see Dave leaving for Billund. So congratulations on your new role. And hello,
Thank
Remy, who's in the chat. How's it going, Remy? And hi, Spot. Good to see you. And yeah, if you could, first of all, I was so excited to be going to BrickCan for the first time because I've been registered for 2020, and we all know what happened with 2020. And we've all been waiting 3 years to get to BrickCan. And this will be my first time going there. And you were mentioning that you will likely not be there. So sorry, guys. So if you want to go see.
The legendary host isn't going to be there.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit about what you're up to and why you're not going to be at BrickCan, for those of you who don't know. Hello, Brick Jedi.
What am I up to? Well,
yeah, what are you up to?
After the show, I actually interviewed and was offered a job at LEGO. And so in the next few months, I'll be moving over to Billund and starting a job as a LEGO product designer. Unfortunately, that means that I will not be at BrickCan. I know the millions and millions of fans out there are upset and crying about this. But you guys,
I'm crying.
Yeah, you guys, you'll be okay because BrickCan is a great show. It's a great event. And you guys are going to have a blast even without me. I'm the one who should be sad and jealous that I'm not going to be there to have fun with all of you.
I guess I won't know what it was like before because I've never been. So I guess I'll just have to imagine what it was like when you were hosting some of these things.
Yeah, imagine it'll be the same, just a little bit hairier.
Okay. And if I remember right, I read an article that you have been the Learning Center supervisor at Douglas College.
I have. I'm working at Douglas still. I've got a couple of weeks left at that current job. And I've been working there at the Learning Center for 15 years, first as a peer tutor, then a coordinator, and now as the supervisor. My boss just announced to our entire staff that my last day is the end of next week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it's full, I'm going full time into purging and packing up my house, putting my house in the market and getting ready to move and immigrate over to Denmark. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And Emily was mentioning that she's never seen your Lego room so empty before.
This is a weird look. Normally these drawers, these racks here, are full of drawers that are full of bricks, 240 odd of them. But it's all getting packed up. Lots of it's getting sold off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you're based in Surrey, is that right? A suburb?
I'm here in beautiful Surrey, British Columbia, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing the inside of my Lego room, but it's a beautiful city.
Oh, sorry, someone wanted to say hi.
Oh, there's Harlow. Yes. Okay, we have to give a close-up of Harlow because
catching at the door incessantly, she needs to be on the webcam.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey, how are you, Harlow? Yeah. Oh my gosh, she likes to give kisses too.
Oh, yeah. Harlow's hungry. She wants to eat on face.
Well, I had a chance to meet both of you. And my dog also got to meet you, Kate Sarod, and she got to meet you over at, I think it was the Bricks and Wheels store down near Kent.
She's so cute.
Yes, it was so nice to see you. And Dave, I have to say, I was so surprised. First thing that happens, I walk into the door and you go, "Hey, Naomi." I was like, "Wow,
I
you
was,
actually know who I am."
yeah, I was
Of
looking up.
course.
No, oh yeah,
Well, I think you and I have run into each other at BrickCon a few times.
at BrickCon, yeah, for sure, and maybe Bricks Cascade. Have you been down there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I haven't really been in the Lego scene for that long. I think for maybe convention wise for the last 4 years,
that
I
sounds about
think.
right. Yeah,
It looks
Yeah,
like you're wearing a Bricks Cascade T-shirt right now,
I
yeah.
Naomi.
am
I
wearing a
should have
Bricks
known. I
Cascade.
should have known. You're wearing the shirt.
10th anniversary, yes.
Wow.
Ooh,
And I got the cake too. And for those of you,
ooh.
by the way, this is a good segue that for those of you who did not see the announcement, Bricks Cascade has repopulated their inventory of the convention kit. So for those of you who missed the convention kit, or I actually not the ones who missed it, the ones who never got it because they had run out, but had paid for it, yeah, you can go get those. But
Wow.
so Emily, are you planning to be at BrickCan? Will you be there in April?
Yeah, I'll be at BrickCan. I'll be there for the whole entirety of it. I think
Okay.
I work until the Wednesday, so I'll be there from probably Wednesday night, and I'll be in
Are
and
you
out.
staying Wednesday night?
Yeah, I have the
That is
hotel
the
booked from.
smart thing to do. The smart thing to do for BrickCan is book into the hotel right there at the River Rock, and
Mm-hmm.
you check in on Wednesday night, and you check out on Monday. So you're
Yeah,
there. Was it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, 5 nights, and then you don't have to get there on Thursday because like it's a casino resort. So even when there's not like necessarily Lego stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
there's the casino, there's a pool, there's a water slide, there's a spa, there's
Oh
restaurant.
wow.
Like you do not have to leave that venue. It is
Yeah.
no, but I mean the transit. We have the SkyTrain. It's like our version of the subway, and it goes basically right inside the hotel, like through a tunnel.
Oh.
You don't have to go outside. It rains so much here. You don't have to go outside, and that'll take you right downtown. It goes right inside the airport. It's like honestly, like you can go there and not look outside for the whole time you want if you want to. But there's also great stuff to do outside too.
There's always one AFOL that drops and loses like $400 or $500 at the casino,
Oh.
and you see them.
Oh.
Oh, it's gonna be you this year, eh? Like
Was that you, Emily?
I do like the casino.
So if you, I probably shouldn't say this right away, but let's just say that if you had a windfall of cash from some competition that you may have been on, would you have used it at the River Rock in April?
I
Because
mean, let's just say it's a good thing that maybe we didn't win the big prize because, yeah, I'd probably spend a good chunk of that
okay,
gambling.
spoiler alert. I mean, it's been
It's
what
spoiled.
months now?
We can say that.
We can say it now, yeah.
yeah.
Well, and Remy, by the way, says, "Aw," because
Oh,
Harlow, so great. I love also the fact that I've been talking with some of the other contestants, and we didn't even know if they had pets because it was nice that you had the interview where you had a chance to talk about because you did the scream of puppies, and then they said, "Yeah, tell us about your building and how you actually build with your dog in hand." But there were several people, first of all, who had dogs as pets.
yep.
For example, Tacos. We didn't know Tacos had a dog. Also, Jonathan, also from Jonathan Xavier, he has a dog as well. So
And
it's
Michelle's
kind of
got two little tiny ones like I do.
Oh yeah.
And she's also got children, so I think she prioritizes them. I don't have kids. The dog is my kid.
yeah.
Well, like
I
Liz has
know
a
how you
dog and
feel. My
Yo-Yo's.
my dog is my child as well.
Yeah. Yo-Yo's got a dog.
Mhm.
Nick's got a dog.
Nick's
Liz has got a dog.
Liz loves her dog more than her kids, she said.
Austin's got a dog.
No, misses the dog more than the kids.
Austin
Austin
has a dog.
does.
Justin's got
Justin has
dogs.
2 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably most of the contestants on the show have dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other piece of information we learned later was that some people had allergies. And I think it was Emily and Liam. I think Liam had the allergies and it was really hard for him to get through that episode because of that.
Well, but let's be honest. Even though that dog, Tank, they didn't finish his legs, that was still a beautiful build.
Oh, yeah.
And, like,
Oh,
something
yeah.
to really be proud of, despite all the challenges they had, the extra challenges with allergies and Tank not necessarily behaving the whole time. and having the biggest build, the largest build of all of them.
Yes.
They almost finished it, and it was
they wanted to do
awesome.
a 1-to-1 ratio,
Yeah.
and that wasn't a requirement. That was the other thing we learned too, is that you could have gone lower scale if you wanted to, but they did a 1-to-1 ratio on that dog, and that was huge.
It was.
He was huge.
So reflecting back on your experience, it sounded like, at least from the article that I read, that Dave, you started this journey first, and then you brought in Emily, or how did that work?
Well, it depends where you want to start. Like, I definitely started the Lego journey first. I've said this in a bunch of interviews, and it's probably quoted in articles too, where like when Emily was born, way back in whatever year it was, I'm sure it's out there on the internet. My parents plopped me in the corner of the room, away from the baby, with a bucket of inherited Lego. And honestly, I've been building ever since. That was again many years ago, because Emily seems to get angry when I say what year it was,
no, you don't,
or how long it's been.
Many years ago.
It was
I don't
Emily
tell people
lifetime
my
ago.
age either, because people treat you differently when they know how old you are.
Oh, sure.
It was in the 90s. We'll just say that. It was in the 90s at some point.
It's just a number that I can't remember.
There you go.
And so I never stopped building. I had a little bit of a dim age, I like to call it.
Right. I read that article where you didn't call it a dark age. You called it a dim age.
I refused to, because I didn't buy any Lego. I didn't get any new sets or anything, but I was still building. And I would still build large mocks just out of the same pieces. Build a large mock, use up everything I had, take it apart, and build something new.
And you never were really not interested in Lego. You just, there was part of your life where you were more interested in something else, like Star Wars in your younger teen years, and then Warhammer in your older teen years. But Lego was always around still.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so season 1, I was in the casting process for season 1, and I think they just didn't take any Canadians for season 1.
I was wondering about that, because there's several people, I think Liam mentioned this on stage at BrickCon, where he was interviewed, I think, also for season 1, but he was ghosted. Liam was too young. He was too young at the time. And then when he came of age, then they reached out to him again, and they said, hey, and then I wasn't sure if he had originally went in with Emily as his mother, or if he said, hey, if you bring your mom in.
No, and that's funny. So like in season 1, I was going through the process with somebody else named Dave. It would be a Dave Lug team. If you've been around the community in the Pacific Northwest, Dave Lug is very prolific. And then when it came to season 3, I auditioned at first with our mother. And they thought, we've got another mother-son team that we're really keen about, and that would be Emily and Liam.
Yeah.
And at some point, one of us mentioned Emily, this firecracker sister, where we showed them the meme of us at Christmas.
We had a Christmas card.
Christmas 2019 when that Christmas card went viral, and we showed them that, and they're like, "We want to see Emily." She's in the Christmas card. She's drinking champagne and holding Harlow, and
everyone's looking perfectly at the camera. All the little kids, David and his wife have their little we're expecting sign. Even the dog is posed perfectly looking at the camera, and I'm just chugging champagne.
That's right. So they're like, you know what? She seems interesting. We want to interview you with her. And then the rest, I guess, is history. Because of that, because of Emily, we got on the show. Well, I used to joke that she was my ticket onto the show, and I was her ticket to win.
Well, you helped each other out, and your dynamic was always a lot of fun, because I think most brothers, sisters, or siblings have their, arguments and discussions and rivalries and what have you. And it was just really fun to see that dynamic come out with the two of you.
I think we were just standard brother and sister,
I mean, I think so, but we were raised by The Simpsons.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Well, Debo says he doesn't call his a dim age. He called it his poor age.
Oh.
That's accurate.
No, my poor age came when I got back into Lego. There's so much stuff.
My poor age is now.
I was going to say, that's my age now. That's why I have a Thrifty Thursday stream.
Oh, brilliant. I'm a sucker for collecting minifigs, and there's so many things that I remember back in say 07, 08, it's like, oh man, $30 for that minifigure, $100 for that minifig, it's too expensive. And then now those same minifigs are like $300, $400, $1,000, and it's like, oh, I wish I should have got those. I should have got those when they were $30.
They were $30.
Yeah.
Right. And some minifigs, was it the Thelma minifig from the Scooby-Doo series, is like crazy expensive, and
Yeah,
it only
Velma's-
comes in that one set.
yeah.
And
I've got
Barb from
I've got my
Stranger Things,
crazy
Barb.
expensive Star Wars figs right here that I haven't packed up yet.
Here, let me give you full screen. Hold up.
So what have I got?
Oh,
I got
wow. You've got the C-3PO,
I've
too.
got my Chrome Stormtrooper, Chrome C-3PO, Chrome Vader,
Wow.
and then I've got the Cloud City Boba Fett.
There's a Santa Claus Star Wars figure.
That's a Yuletide Squadron figure from the
Oh, wow.
gift set from a few years ago, and then Jedi Bob, and the VIP fig. The only one that I'm missing, if anybody is out there and really wants to get me the ultimate birthday present, is the I Love New York Yoda shirt where it says NY I Heart. And that's the fig. I want to replace Jedi Bob with that figure.
With the I Heart New York.
If anyone's
Yoda
open for a
one.
trade.
If anyone is open to gifting me a fig that goes for like $10,000 on Bricklink, yeah, I'm totally keen for one of those. I absolutely regret not buying one once on Facebook Marketplace. It had cracks on the torso, and the guy wanted $300 for it, and it's like, it's too much.
And
now,
at the time, you're thinking, no way
Right?
am I going
Yeah.
to spend $300, right,
Yep.
for a minifig.
now I wish I did.
Well, apparently, people are talking about the porridge, just right, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
And I have so many that I love my shirts, as far as, I guess, minifigs that have I love, I heart,
And
whatever. Yeah.
But it's NY I love.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, it's in Yoda speak.
Because it's Yoda speak.
NY I heart. Okay, got it. Wow. Right. Do or do not. There is no try.
Bingo.
Oh, okay. So apparently Spot has a bunch of those I Heart shirts at his store. It must be
Hi.
We're talking about the Yoda minifig with
Yeah.
the NY I Heart. So if anybody's out there watching this
DM
right
me.
now or later, Dave would appreciate being gifted that anonymously if you want, or you can gift it to him knowing, he'll
We will
praise
trade you
He'll praise
stickers
you with many
of us
things.
as sig figs. Autographed.
Because there's this
Oh.
one, and there's another one that he's got green arms and it says I Love New York, and those are available at the stores in New York City. But then there's a different one that I can't show because I don't have it that says it's the NY's on top, NY I Love.
Oh, okay.
This has gone
Well,
way
I
too long
imagine-
talking about that one fig.
Lots of things are packed right now too.
Yes, most.
So I'm just kind of curious, now that the show is over and you've been kind of on the interview circuit, what have you noticed about your fans or people who've approached you after the show has been on? Because it's interesting when you talk to different people. I'll give you an example. Dom recently posted on his TikTok that I think he was at the Lego store in Disney, and nobody had a clue who he was. It was like he posted this video of all these people walking past him, and they didn't recognize him because he's kind of a nondescript, person, and he also looks different, right? Because he grew his hair out from the show. So I'm just kind of curious about, what has your experience been like now that you've been on the show? Because I know there's lots of AFOLs who knew you before you were on the show, but what kinds of experiences have you had since the show aired?
I've had some fun ones. I think the one that really sticks out to me is I was at the passport office, and there's like a huge delay in Canada to get passports now. So I was like hour 3 or 4 of being there, and I was finally at like the counter getting mine processed.
3 hours? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
pretty standard.
And I felt it was a short day.
Yeah,
Like, I was
I
ready
think
to be
our
there for
sister
like
went and
5,
she was
6
there for
hours.
5.
My
Anyways,
God.
So like I'm sitting there, and the woman is like typing away, and the guy at like the counter next to me, he leans over, he's like, "Hey, are you Dave from LEGOMasters?"
You didn't tell
Well,
me
I'm doing my
that.
passport process, and like I'm like, I had a second, so we took a selfie, and then like the guy messaged me after. So like, shout out to Lee for meeting me at the passport office.
Did you give him stickers?
I don't remember if I had stickers with me.
Okay, so I carry those stickers around with me everywhere, and I was recently out of town, and I was at a ski hill, and I don't know how it came up, but we started talking about Lego Masters, and I was just handing my stickers out to everybody at the bar on the ski hill. And they're all putting them on their helmet. So I'm like skiing down in the afternoon. You see like your face go by.
Oh,
I'm like,
fun.
yes!
That's me.
If anybody sees me out, please ask me for a sticker. I have them and I'm more than happy to give them to you. And I have Dave's too. So you can ask me for Dave's. I'm not offended.
You gave me Dave's sticker.
I don't want yours. I just want
I gave you Dave's, didn't I?
You gave me Dave's sticker. In fact, I have my stack of stickers over there. Maybe when we're going through a discussion where I have one of you at full screen, I'll go grab them real quick. But yeah, I think that's the thing is that Carrie mentioned this. So another example, Carrie Wu had mentioned that I think he was like at a Walmart or something, and that some little girl came up and said, "You're one of the grandpappies, aren't you?" How sweet is that? Right?
The thing that I can say about like our particular fans of Dave and Emily, is you guys are like the smartest Lego fans out there, smartest Lego Masters fans, the most beautiful people, just the best fans out there, because you're fans of us.
You guys have the best taste.
The best taste. That's the one. Yeah. That's
we had a pretty cool
really
experience. We were at the mall near. It was the day before we saw you down at the Bricks.
Oh yeah, we were at Linwood Mall,
and we were standing like
Mall,
Panda Express lineup in the food court at the mall, and some woman came up. Like I guess she was staring at me, and then trying to figure out if it was actually me, is what she told us. And then David walked up and she just like lost her bananas to her husband and like came over. She's like, "I'm so sorry." And we're like, "No, this is amazing. Like, please talk to us. We love it."
So were you in front of the Lego store at the Alderwood Mall, or were you just kind of walking around?
No, we were in the food court. We weren't even near the Lego store.
Oh, okay. Because that's the mall that I usually go to. And that's my home Lego store.
No one knew us.
And it's a big mall. So if you were at the food court, then I can imagine that, if people are like, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
They
were so sweet.
Did they come up to you at your table too? And
we ended up sitting at the table next to them just because that's conveniently.
Coincidentally.
There was an empty table there.
And they had a dog with them, so clearly I was obsessed.
Yep. And we got pictures and
took
selfies.
Yeah, they were super nice.
Yeah, it was great.
I think it was the parents were more excited than the kids.
The kids did not care.
They didn't care.
No.
Well, that's what's interesting too, is that in your case, you said the kids didn't care, but apparently for the grandpappies, the kids are the ones who are super excited to see them, where the parents are kind of, yeah, that's great. But the kids are like squealing and crying because they were, let off the show.
Aww.
Friends of mine tell me that their kids love the grandpappies.
Yeah.
And the firefighters. And I'm like, okay, no, but you're my friends.
Yeah, Emily.
You're supposed to like us. They're like, no, they love the grandpappies. They were crying when they got eliminated. I'm like, what about me?
Okay, those friends of yours are not the smartest people, don't have the best taste, are not the most beautiful. Okay.
Maybe they're watching. Shut up.
Maybe they are, but if they're
also it's their kids, not them.
Oh, okay, yeah, kids. Okay, that's fair.
All my friends, obviously, we were there.
Well, and you've gotten to be really good friends with the entire cast. It sounds like
we're family.
The camaraderie, everybody that we've spoken to in the entire cast has said that you guys have just been so tight. And you do things outside of, the Lego world. Like I think if I remember right, Emily, you and Stacy have been doing some things on her show with her cocktail show and doing things like that. And I'm kind of curious about, have you guys also like planned other things, like vacations or anything together? Or are you not quite at that stage?
Yes.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
A lot of them are coming up for BrickCan, so we're all planning that, of course.
Right. Oh, good.
I'm trying to convince most people. I know Yo-Yo and his building partner, who is not his show partner, I know they're coming into Vancouver on the Wednesday as well. So we'll have a kind of a quieter night. So I'm trying to convince the docs to come up the same day.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. I did talk with the docs, and they said that they are coming to BrickCan.
Oh, yeah, they're coming. I talked to Justin on the weekend, and he originally was coming on the Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But when I told him that Yo-Yo said he was coming on the Wednesday and I was going to be there on the Wednesday, he's like, okay, well, let's look at what
you got to go in early.
That's right. Get in early. Yeah. You're making me really jealous there now, Emily.
I'd say see what you can do to come, but I don't think this is the right time to plan that.
That's actually my exact thought process. I still have my hotel room booked and my registration for BrickCon. I haven't officially canceled it yet.
Honestly, so does Mom, and she asked me if she should cancel, and I told her to hold on to it till the last minute. So I think that's a good call.
I was going to
What
say
if
you might
something
be able
gets
to
sidetracked
broker
and you
those
have to
with
start
some other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's good builders that want to go. So
Well, that
anyway,
before
No,
we
sorry.
give up any rooms, we'll put it out there to our lug and like our other
Yeah.
like, people that we know. Like we'll make sure that the rooms get used at the.
But you talk about vacation is I think I'm going to be like the vacation destination for a lot of Lego Masters contestants. A lot of our family is they're going to want to come and visit me in like
I'm coming in September.
Lego Mecca. Yeah.
Well,
if you're an
kinda
AFOL and you
curious.
haven't been to Billund, like get over there.
I need to get over there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has told me that, and maybe this is the year, but it's still COVID is still kind of scaring me about getting
Absolutely
on a
it
plane
is.
for what 12, 14 hours.
Yeah.
Is there a direct flight for you from Vancouver to get
No.
to Amsterdam at least, and then
Yeah, either
jump
Amsterdam
over?
or Frankfurt or London or Oslo, Paris.
I met a Danish woman today at the hospital who said Billund is a lovely town. She doesn't know anything about Lego.
Well, it's because like if you live in like the Jutland Peninsula, Billund is where you fly through, because it's got the second biggest international airport in Denmark. Like if you live in Copenhagen, you fly through Copenhagen. If you live in like the western half of the country, you fly through Billund. And like if you read about other cities, if you read about say Vejle is the 10th biggest city in Denmark, people are like, oh yeah, the airport is only half an hour away in Billund, or like the airport's only an hour away in Billund. Whereas everywhere in Billund, this little village, everywhere is 10 minutes away from the airport.
Right. Well, since we are talking about Billund, I was kind of curious if we could talk a little bit about what you did with some of your builds. There was two specifically that I was curious about that I'm just going to pull up one of them first of all. And that's the one where you brought in some of your ethnic background and like and you have some Danish too, is that right?
No, not Danish, but Dutch.
Dutch, I'm sorry, Dutch. Okay, so let me just show you this shot.
So good.
And I was just really excited when contestants bring in a part of their family background. And so many of you in the chat, I'm sure, at least the ones that I see here, have seen this build already. But the toast build that you have here on the right, is that something that was on the show, or did you just do that on your Instagram account?
That was, so if you look at the house, you can see there's like a little brown circle on the left side that I'm seeing of it. And the bread that I'm pretending to chew was stuck to the right side of the house. So the whole idea was that the whole house was made of candy and it was covered in all of our favorite Dutch treats. And the one I'm eating is white bread with sprinkles, and that's like a traditional Dutch breakfast.
Just the best.
Just white bread with butter and candy sprinkles like that you would put on.
I've actually had that.
Yeah, I think in Australia they call it fairy bread.
Fairy bread, really?
I think that's
in Australia. But in the Netherlands they call it
hagelslag. That's the name of the sprinkles.
Yeah.
But more exciting. Everybody would love the bread and the way that looked and everything. And that's almost exactly like our mom still eats that for breakfast all the time. But on the other side of the house, there is the stroopwafel, which I think is a little more commonly known. And David made it like
Is that the pink one?
No, on the side of the house. It's like a little.
Oh, the waffle. Okay.
Yeah.
It's medium nougat.
Medium
the
nougat,
Lego color.
But it's like anti-studs out, and I'm so excited. I'm still like geeking out over that build. David, you should make a whole set of them.
So this right here, right? Yeah.
I did realize while I was packing that I do have a whole pick-a-brick cup of medium nougat 1x1 plates. I've no idea where they are now. They're in a box in my hallway somewhere.
You kept them though, right?
So you did that with all medium nougat 1x1s?
And what's in between?
In between is like tan wedges.
Oh.
To create the shape, and then it's just lined with the bottom of the 1x1 plates. So it gives you that like waffle.
That's really cool.
Those recesses of the waffle, or in this case, the stroopwafel. Yeah.
I'm so proud of this build. The way I said to David, like, can you open it? Can we make it so it opens like a dollhouse?
Yeah.
And I didn't see him put the hinges on when he was building the door, and I'm just like getting angry as I do. And he just like sets it on the table and opens it, and I was like, oh my god, amazing! I
didn't even tell you. I just like. you're so
didn't
mad.
want,
It's like, look,
you want to spoil the
open.
surprise, right?
I was like, you're not doing what I asked. And he's like, look at this. I'm like, oh my God, that's so much better than what I wanted.
Oh, that's really
This
cool.
one is like the previous episode. We were the shortest people. Our bull rider was the shortest one, and like we thought we were going home, and so now we didn't go home. It's like, let's just have fun,
right?
And so
And-
like we weren't trying to win this challenge. We weren't really trying anything. We're just building something that was fun for us, that we loved, and we did. Like there are things we could have done to make this build better, to probably have won, like, you know, add more color. We had a theme in mind with like the white and blue.
Well, you needed the white to offset the waffle, right?
You're not wrong.
Right.
But you know, if we were trying to play to the judges, we would have added more color into the main house.
Dave and I are so literal that the image for the house that we both knew growing up, so our mom collected little figurines that look like this. We wanted it to look exactly like that. But so thinking what we wanted to build and not taking into account what the judges were going to say or what they were when they came around mid-build and were kind of telling us to read between the lines. We just we weren't even thinking about it. We're like, let's just build the thing.
Now I have to ask another question since we're on the tree episode. What did you think about the bugs, and did they affect you?
Okay, we didn't really have bugs. I don't think
we did. I noticed like probably 3.
Yeah, like maybe a couple, but they weren't substantial. The sap was more annoying to me, but again, not substantial. David's allergic to like all of nature, so I just remember like, don't acknowledge that there's a tree here.
I'm not allergic to any kind of trees, just grass.
I don't remember. I just remember don't acknowledge that it's like an actual tree and we're in nature and maybe it won't be a problem.
I say this as I'm going to like sniffle right now. Like, I'm not allergic to that. Yeah.
Well, you were talking about too. This is the build you were talking about that you you almost got eliminated on. You were so worried about. And one thing I wanted to ask you about this build is that when I talked with a couple other contestants, they said it was kind of confusing, the dimensions. That they said it was supposed to be 30 inches from, and they said they weren't sure if you were supposed to measure from the feet to the head or from the saddle to the top, and that's where some of the teams had some misunderstandings. And did you run into any kinds of issues with that when you were building yours?
I don't think that was an issue for us on the build. I think we probably put that hat on just to be safe.
Ours is way bigger than it needed to be.
Yes.
And again, like I say, like we're quite literal. Like they said, it has to be 30 inches high. So when we talked about it, we took that as from the base to the top.
Right.
But looking at where his feet are, like the separate rule for the build was that it had to have 4 distinct appendages and a head. Yeah. So
like those appendages add height.
Right.
Yeah. So some people took it from the tip of the toe to the top of the ears or pad.
That's exactly what Emily and Liam did. Because
and I think that's accurate. Like that's the right thing to do.
And I think the grandpappies had the same interpretation that you did from the saddle to the top, because theirs was also was taller than some of the other builds that were.
And I think Liz and Aaron and Nick and Stacy were also quite tall too, because Nick and Stacy, their ballerina had her hand up.
That's right.
That's
and
true.
So from the tip of her fingers to the base was quite tall.
Yeah. So, so after this build, you were like, okay, sky's the limit. Let's just go ahead from there.
Yeah, but the thing with this build, like, I'm not disappointed that we were the shortest ones on the bull, because I kind of lost perspective while we were building this one that aesthetics matter. And you know, we made a pretty pig, honestly.
It's a cute pig.
What I'm really disappointed about is that it didn't smash very well.
Yeah.
Like he flew off and then kind of hit the ground and just collapsed, which like it's hollow. What do you expect? But like that, just the lackluster destruction disappointed me more than the short time on the bull.
So you would have maybe filled it with something if you wanted it
to
be more dramatic.
If we knew we were going to be on for that short of time, I would have filled his head with confetti or something.
Oh my God, imagine that.
With lots
it's the
of
one thing I think
flying out or something.
Anything.
Wow.
Yeah, our season, and if not the whole season, but just us, really appreciated the destruction. I know previous seasons of the show, the whole cast got really upset when they would
Yeah.
smash and just destroy their builds. Whereas, like, I know for us, it's like, we can't bring these home.
Right.
What do we care?
We can't have it. No one can.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like, if I'm building a mock for myself, I'm not going to smash it because I want to bring it home and take it to another show. Not with this, though. Like,
we actually talked about that about maybe a little over a year ago before we knew we were going to be on the show. David, you and I had a conversation about smashing builds, and you're like, some people do that at cons. That's like a whole thing. And I had no idea because I just would not participate in it before.
That
and then as soon as this one happened, we're like, smash everything. And then they blew up the pirate ships. And for what we lost in Smash Factor here, we definitely made up for with the pirate ship. Because we filled it full of tiny vegetables, and it was the last one to explode. And
so you deliberately put the tiny vegetables in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But again, that being said, with the pirate ship, we had done explosions once before, and that was with dinosaurs, and they were so anticlimactic. It was like the gunpowder was epic, and like the fireballs were kind of disappointing.
This is the dinosaur
build. Yeah. So we had explosions. So we're like, cool, things are going to blow up, and it was like,
yeah, it was a pretty weak explosion.
It looked great on TV, but in real life, like, they weren't loud, they weren't surprising, they were just kind of like, wah, wah.
Well, the other thing about
pirate ships, it was epic.
They put huge explosions. If you blinked in studio, you missed that explosion.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't have the explosions. Sorry, I had promised Emily and Dave that we were going to keep this between 60 and 90 minutes. I didn't want to grab every shot, but since I guess I'm going kind of in reverse order, then if I wasn't planning to go through everyone unless you wanted to, because
the one that, like, if we're talking about explosions still, the last note I want to make on that is just that or destruction, not necessarily an explosion. When we did the golf, the mini golf, I was really hoping that Will would just smash ours with his putter. And like, when it didn't happen, I was a little disappointed, but then I guess I only have myself to blame because I should have just suggested it to him.
I think we were handing him the putter. He was like, please just smash it. We weren't last. So for the judging, if we had been last, we would have totally convinced him to do it, but we weren't last. I think Nick and Stacy were judged last in that one.
Oh, probably.
And it was just such a cliffhanger to see if theirs was going to work or not.
Yeah.
Well, the chat agrees with you that being able to destroy a build has to be satisfying.
Right? Thank you, Brick Jedi. Thank you.
Especially when you build it to be destroyed.
Yes.
Like, and then they did overcompensate on the pirate ship explosions.
Remy's right. They absolutely did.
They did. And I do have those builds too. So if you want, we'll just go through these quickly, and we're not going in the correct order, but
that's okay. We're going to Tarantino this show.
Well, I think most people here are familiar. So since we were talking about the dinosaur episode, you got a chance to meet Chris Pratt in person. Now, you knew he was in the building, though, right?
Not at that moment.
No. Okay.
Well,
you really had a sincere, surprised look when.
Yeah, and I had been sick for the beginning of that build, so I came over to grab some brick, and Will was standing there, and they're like, "Oh, go talk to Will. Go get some brick from the corner, and there'll be a surprise." So I hope I run over there, and Will's standing there. I'm like, "Oh, surprise! It's Will again!" Like, and so I had my back turned. I was talking to him, and Chris Pratt walked up behind me.
Oh, wow!
I think there was like an expletive removed.
Yeah, so I actually turned around and used some of Crash's colorful language.
Oh, wow.
So the voice that you hear, it's actually voiceover from another clip. And Liz said actually that it was her voice that goes, "Oh, hi." And
really?
I think that might actually be true because
oh, no way.
Yeah, when you watch the first edit of it, I didn't pay attention to it when the full episode came out, but in June when they had the sneak peek, and she said that, and I listened to it again. I was like, yeah, that's not even my voice, but they had to do something with it.
Oh,
wow. So we're going to have to go back and listen to that, because if that's Aaron's voice,
Liz,
and the expletive you're talking about, the reason why in episode 1 they didn't announce who came in second place was because Crash and Yo-Yo were dropping a bunch of F-bombs here and there after they won, right?
That is true.
I mean, it shows them the footage that we see where they tell them that they're the number 1. That was them actually getting called up first for
wow.
2. And then
they made the top 2, that they were also
yeah.
Wow.
Very happy and excited.
Yeah.
Well, just to kind of round out the first half, there's your very first build, the twin pod cruiser.
And in hindsight, that's one of my favorite builds of the show.
I was going to
Me
say
too.
that
I was just thinking that.
they didn't give you much airtime on this, and I'm curious. Since one is blue and one is red, I don't want to assume one belongs to one and one belongs to the other. So,
Well, both of us.
Yeah, they're both of us. We never really figured that out. Who would be? Who.
Although I think I'm driving the red one and you're driving the blue one.
Oh, I think you're right. We're both in the cockpit. Yeah,
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, so you are both in the individual cockpits, and I wasn't going to assume that Dave was in the blue one, but I thought I would ask.
I
don't know.
I don't
remember.
All right, I'm gonna hide this for a moment, and then we're gonna skip ahead, so you don't have to see me scrolling through all of these. But
it was speed round going through all the builds.
Well, I have to go talk about the puppy episode, right? Because that's the one right after the tree episode.
That's right.
Okay, so here, let me add this to the stream.
And it was like Emily enjoyed that or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Emily, I think that everybody in the world knows that you are a dog lover.
Yeah, I don't think that's a secret.
And people may not know that you dressed as Cruella de Vil, I think.
Yeah, that was me and Harlow at Halloween.
And there's Harlow.
2019, I think. She was supposed to be a Dalmatian, but she wasn't such a good sport.
Did you paint a black eye on her or something?
Yeah, she had black spots all over. She was painted like a Dalmatian.
Hilarious.
Well, I had mentioned this to you too when we met in person, but the next slide that's here is the infamous.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
What Remy calls the Renaissance painting.
It really is.
It is.
And the other thing Dave and Emily had mentioned to me was that if you see Austin in the back here, all the way on the right, he does not run for anything when it comes to going to the brick pit or when it came to running for the leashes. He just does kind of like a saunter.
He just saunters.
We say he saunters, and he'll say that he moseys.
He moseys. That's right.
I don't do that. I mosey.
That's because
he did run.
Texas.
Yeah, Later on, he did run at one point, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then he slowed down. Yeah. Are you
Is someone chasing you?
Right. Yeah. And Remy also wants to mention you did a great cosplay there as well, Cruella de Vil. Yeah.
I'll take a Disney villain.
You nailed the eyebrows on her too. That was awesome.
That's my job.
So, all right. So you told me this story, but I want you to mention it to people in the audience here. So Dave is there on the far left.
Yeah.
But Emily is nowhere to be seen in this shot. So if I remember right, Emily, you had a pretty easy time, right?
I mean, I think every team designated their stronger, taller person or stronger runner to go. And I just said, you're getting that leash. And
I didn't though.
You didn't get the leash. No, you grabbed the corgi, I think, didn't you? And then you traded?
Oh, maybe that's it. Like I grabbed I couldn't grab one at all. And then the one
I gave him top 3.
Yeah, the one that we won was there. So I just
dog. Like we turned around to the crowd right before they said run, and I'm like, don't even try it. And then Dom, I think, was just like trying to get the crowd riled up because he said at one point, he's like, we're going to get the Dalmatian, or he's like, go for the corgi, get the smallest dog. Like he was just like making comments, and like everybody was like turning around and like giving him the evil eye. And then right when we started running, he yells, get the Dalmatian, and Crash is just like, nope, and like takes out Ethan.
I just grabbed a leash at that point because like the one that I knew we wanted was the pink one, and it was gone. And so I just grabbed something, and then we did some. I think I just gave it to Nick.
The pink one was on the ground.
Oh, maybe. And so I had the 2, and I gave one to Nick, and then kept the pink one.
Everything was just everywhere, so most people just kind of got up to scramble for their lives. And David's like, "Oh, there's the leash that I don't want."
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what I was getting at. Was that when we spoke, you said that pretty much you were able to just walk up and then grab the Pap's leash, and then all the others I think had already also negotiated because everybody knew Nick was getting the corgi. That was pretty much a done deal.
Yeah. Realistically, if we had our way, we would have all just walked up, and we should have just done that because everyone knew who wanted what dog. but they wanted us to run, and honestly, it made for a good story and it made for good TV. Because look at it again, the Renaissance painting. Somebody out there should actually take this photo and paint it, and then put it in a nice gold picture frame. And
what they should do is now with artificial intelligence, they should just feed this in as a scan and this tell the AI make this into a Renaissance painting, right? And Devo says it should be called The Fall of Men.
Oh my God, The Fall of Men. That's right, because there's dudes on the floor and all the women are standing up.
And poor Jonathan, you can't even see him under the table.
Lucky he survived.
He's fine.
Classic tableau.
Classic tableau. Yes, it is.
Yes, definitely.
But the whole range of emotions. Look at look at Xavier.
He's like, oh my God, my partner's dead.
Yes, Xavier's like, what's happened? Well, I think probably because John's under the table.
Yeah.
He is, and even
right now,
look at Liz.
You can't see John, but he's under the table and he is right below where Greg is.
You talk about Renaissance painting. You could cut Liz out of this painting, her torso, and stick her at the table in the Last Supper, and she would fit right in with the apostles. The look on her face, and the way her hands are. That's a Da Vinci, right?
I'd say the same about Justin there too, though.
Yeah, Justin is also looking kind of like, what?
Yeah.
What? And
Justin, I just remember his face. He was like, oh man, really?
Yeah.
And then production, the stage manager came out and yelled at us all about safety, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Dom looks inconsolable. Well, the order that we've been able to determine based on our interviews is that Ethan got there first. He got his dachshund and just immediately ran away, and that's when Crash went into the table, and he got the Dalmatian, and then Jonathan, who's under the table at this point, had gotten Murph, the French bulldog. Yep. And the others were just kind of like, Nick, we already knew, had already negotiated he was going to get the corgi. And the others were like, okay, what we have here. And it sounds like the Pap was just like, here, you could just walk right up and take it, right? Yep. It was easy.
Well, it was the fluffiest. Everybody's like, oh, you got it easy because you had the smallest dog. The fluff on that dog is only
I was going to say the texture would have been challenging.
Yeah, I don't think there was an easy dog. Every dog had their own challenges.
Yep.
Because the one that had the best texture. Oh, there you go.
There's the dog.
Oh, and it just looks so perfect.
And I love this shot because it really is, Tappy the Pappy is looking the other way, and you've got them matched.
It's just
perfectly there.
And look at them walking down the runway side by side.
Yes. They're so cute.
I finally got to do my show dog skills that I've been rehearsing my entire life.
Oh, really?
No.
So you've been with your dog. Is your dog a Chihuahua?
She is.
And it was all about Chihuahuas.
Is she what? Sorry.
Has she been in shows?
No. So I am all about the rescue dogs. Spay and neuter your pets. Don't breed. Don't buy from breeders. And dogs, to be show dogs, have to be certified, intact. Kind of.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Part of me doesn't really agree. I'm sure they have rescue dog shows nowadays, but I've been watching the American Kennel Club dog show forever, and I just love it when the tiny ones are on.
So the American Kennel Club is like the Olympics of dog shows. They need to have one that's for regular dogs. They need to have an Olympics for regular people.
Yeah.
Right.
That aren't athletes.
They should have some sort of designated rescue dog kind of show.
Mm-hmm. And they might that I just am not aware of, but.
There is one in Sebastopol, California, or Petaluma, where it's called the Ugly Dog Contest.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And so one dog was an older dog that had lost its teeth, and it was, I think, a Chihuahua or a Chihuahua mix, and it had his tongue sticking out. It was cute, but also ugly at the same time.
Yeah, so our family Chihuahua, I brought him home. He belonged to someone we know, and it just wasn't a good fit for the dog anymore. And I brought him home one day, and I was like, he's going to live here now. And I wasn't living here at that time.
Yeah.
Aww.
And he sort of just him and our dad became bros. And he was almost 17 when he passed away, but he had full cataracts, No
Aw.
teeth, the tongue. The dog was only 4 pounds. His head was like this big. He was smaller than Tap, but the tongue stuck out like 2 inches.
Yeah.
And it would like to the one side, and it would like drag along the floor when he would like sniff as he's walking, and it'd be like covered in like lint and stuff. Oh my god, it was so funny. I feel like the tongue is like a Chihuahua thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
We could probably have a whole episode about dogs, which we will be doing a special episode where we're going to be interviewing the dog trainers and the dog owners.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're scheduling that. We
Ooh.
just negotiated a date end of February.
Great.
So,
I'll be watching.
yeah, you should watch. Well, we're trying to we're trying to stay within the guidelines of Endemol Shine, so it's not just Lego Masters. It'll be dogs that have been on Lego Masters and other shows as well.
Oh, cool.
So just yeah, because we wanted to know the behind the scenes too about what was happening with that.
Well, I think the really interesting thing with those dogs is like, what other shows have they been on?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
There's
where do
only
we know
been
these
one
dogs
other
from?
Lego Masters show that had a dog on it, and that was Lego Masters New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Because of the it's a therapy dog for one of the contestants.
Oh.
Yeah, for Dan.
Yeah.
What's Dan's dog's name?
And I agree, Devo. Dog shows should be more like the Olympics. There needs to be a well rescuing section, or maybe a paperboy chase.
But I think we just need that for the Olympics. Like, get all the athletes out and have a regular people Olympics, and you get randomly selected, like you do for jury duty. You get randomly selected. It's like, you're going to the Olympics. You're competing in gymnastics.
You know what? That's actually a great idea. Like a new reality series, right? It'd
Maybe
be
that's
like
it.
The regular people Olympics. I love that. That's great. So you were talking earlier about, this was one of my favorite builds of yours. Is when you were talking, you filled it up with lots of vegetables so that when it exploded, there were like carrots and everything flying all over the place.
Everything.
It was so much fun, this one. Because like they're on their voyage, they have all their cargo. So they have all these open crates, like a little Lego 4x6 crate. And we fill it with like the cherry pieces or with the actual carrot pieces or just like the stems from the carrots. And then some we brick build as well. Most
of the crates we brick built. I brick built.
Oh, there were bigger
because we only had a couple crates.
You're right. There's some that we did that were 8x6, so that the cavity inside was 4x6. So you could fit like apples or larger, little tiny brick built things that were really just like a couple of studs.
One of the requirements for this challenge that's not aired is that your story for your ship had to have a clear captain.
Yeah,
it had to have a port of call. And it had to have a cargo, like the story had to include all of that. So I kind of took the cargo and ran with it.
Well, the whole thing,
well,
like all of it, every aspect that they described to us that had to be part of this challenge, we worked it into our story. And that story with all those puns, not all of them even aired on TV. Like, did they air Will taking a knee? Because like Will took a knee.
No, Will,
they didn't air that.
You could see Will as we were like presenting the whole story with all the jokes and the puns, and Will, you would see his like face light up because he got a pun, and then I would say it right after, and he'd be like disappointed.
Oh, he did like at least 3 times when he was like disappointed that we said the pun he was thinking of.
Yeah, you could like see the light bulb spark, and then
he was like, "Oh," you could hear the sad trombone going on in his head, right?
Yeah, and then at the end, he's just standing there. He's like, "I think I got to take a knee," and everybody was stitches. Like,
if you're planning to be a contestant on Lego Masters USA in the future. That should be your goal, is to like take the jokes out of Will Arnett's mouth.
Try to out dad joke Will Arnett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work on your dad jokes.
Speaking of future contestants, Remy is also he's already made it public that he's applying.
Hey, way to go, Remy.
If you don't like vegetables, the pirate ship will fill you with real dread if you saw the sail approaching.
There you go.
Great job.
It is a scary pirate ship.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole thing I was trying to go for too, is they weren't looking for world peas.
We should have had that one on the show too. And Bert Jedi says your presentation was spot on. I think my favorite was the Brussels Scouts. Yeah, the Brussels Scouts.
100% Emily.
Yeah, Brussels Scouts.
Let us take you on a voyage.
That's right.
I will
said
say,
that at one point in there.
I'll warn you that this chat, Debo is big on puns. If
Excellent.
Lena shows up, that Lena's going to be big on puns too. Oh, hey, minifigure collector. Good to see you, Robbie.
Hey.
And I missed a couple comments earlier about when you were talking about the format for the Olympics. It'd be the new kind of Hunger Games format. You randomly select people to compete with each other.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be a good show, but I
don't know about that, Remy. You scare me. But
folks might actually be hungry. Like, not Hunger Games as in killing each other, but Hunger Games because they're like, oh, I can't overeat
maybe
now.
That's what he was saying. Maybe the pirate ship made him think about the Hunger Games, literally.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. And you hope that boat doesn't leak. Yeah.
Oh,
there's no leaks on that boat. That would have been a good one. Now, let me ask you, when you were planning your puns, did you write them out before you went to your presentation?
Yeah, I've got a binder around here somewhere because I am studying still, and I had my notebooks with me, even though I didn't study the entire time we were filming. But I opened one of my notebooks about a week ago to start taking notes when I was reading, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's all my Captain Gord puns. Like, I rewrote it because I was writing really messy. But it was like on our lunch break, and I'm like scribbling out the story as fast as I can.
We had 3 pages of puns that we were going over on lunch break.
This was amazing for puns, I will say.
It was a lot of fun.
Now we're on to Camp Ooze.
Camp Ooze is another favorite of mine. I
love the creatures in the front here. These little creatures that you have
here.
Yeah.
We called them space flamingos from Flamingo R9.
Counselors.
Yeah. And like this one here, if I
y'all look so stressed out.
If I didn't get the job at Lego right now, I was actually planning on building out this one here, but like as a theme of sets to try and like improve my portfolio.
Oh, nice.
Put them up on Flickr and Instagram.
You're gonna go now, so you can.
Oh yeah, maybe I
can create it. Maybe as a future set.
Yeah, I don't think I'll have that kind of pull just yet, but maybe one day in the future we'll see Ooze Camp as a theme. Is it space? Is it city? It would be awesome. It'd be amazing if we can get it as a city theme.
Have they assigned you yet to your?
I don't have an assignment yet. No.
Oh, okay.
We're still too far out, I think.
Well, some other comments about points to the first person to make a bok choy pun. Ooh. Well, it is Chinese New Year, so
Debo, we did like list a bunch of vegetables, and bok choy was one on our list,
and we couldn't come up with anything.
We couldn't come up with anything. So
I can't believe we missed leeks, though.
We had a leak pun in there.
Did we?
We did.
I thought we did, maybe, but it wasn't.
I don't know
if
it made the final draft.
No, it didn't.
That we were like recited in our presentation, but we had one.
And then there was like the whole like script presentation that we wanted to say, and then when you're in the moment, you're getting judged, and the pressure is there. Like there was a lot I left out, like the fact that they were sick from continuously getting scurvy, but they weren't good guys; they were still bad guys. So they weren't in search of world peace.
World peace. No, Ooze Camp was super fun.
And
it suffered.
Ooze, did it ever come to you about slime? And did the
funny thing
say you can't use slime? So Ooze.
No, Ooze was our first idea. Even though, like in our heads, or in my head, I was thinking about a lot like the old Nickelodeon shows. Maybe they still do it on Nick, where they slime people. But for me, it was just Ooze. Only Ooze. Like the word slime, I don't think it was ever there.
Never even
Ooze. Yeah,
it was
the
always
problem
Ooze.
with this one though, and I think it was a problem with our dinosaur build as well. Is a really good layout. Horizontally, just not enough that you could see.
You need more vertical.
Yeah. Like the trees are tall, but there's not enough canvas on those trees, right? Like if we built a mountain or something, and you could see more story in the height.
Kind of like the volcano camp.
The volcano, absolutely.
Austin and Justin did. I mean, it had the height, it had the girth and the depth, and
so good.
So people are still going with puns in the
don't show any more. Don't show any more, Naomi, because I'll get distracted.
Okay, no more chats.
There's no more puns.
Oh my god, the bok choy one is so funny.
Bok choy, yeah.
The chicken's favorite vegetable, bok choy.
Slime is story. Yep. Yeah, well, and like I said, we're just going to go through these really quickly because I know that you've done
Because why
this so
not?
many times that.
Yeah, it's fun to look back.
Oops.
Though I
Right.
think that where I was trying to remember where ooze came from and how it came into it, and I really wanted to do the wave pool because I had
Oh, yeah.
seen this
Mhm.
technique for wave somewhere on social media a few weeks before we went there, and I said to David when we were talking about camp, I'm like, we had to use power functions. That's what it was. We had to use
Yeah.
like a
Right.
movement. So I said, can you do that thing that I wanted to
Yeah,
do?
because we
Like, have you
talked
ever
about like I
built it?
wanted to work in that wave pool at some point
Yeah.
during the whole show.
And we were like, how can we make that like the theme of the camp? And we're like, what if it was like an ooze camp?
Ooze.
Mhm.
Oozing. So this one, I was trying to get the graphic on the left not to overlap too much on the one on the right. So if you're
Oh,
wondering
good job.
why
Oh, yeah, that's
it's
all right.
kind of wonky, but I thought it was interesting from these two different shots how the color palette is so different, but it's the same build
Oh, yeah, it's just
just because of the way they shot it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
orange lighting.
Yeah, because what I like about the one on the right is that it's really clear that there's this river that you're
Mhm.
cutting over.
Yeah.
And then the one on the left kind of brings out more of the gingerbread kind of feel of the houses.
Yeah. It's really
And-
funny
and-
is I got so like I think so nostalgically about that weird orange lighting that they did when they shot the beauties.
Mhm.
And like we weren't always there when they would do these beautiful
Right.
these
No,
shots.
but we were for this one.
We were for the golf one, and like that was a
Mhm.
really fun time just hanging around while they're shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like there was no pressure. We got to be on stage with our builds without any pressure, and that was not common.
Now, this one also was the second build when I was mentioning earlier about your Dutch background, that this really came through also in this build.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't
I never really
intentional.
thought about it.
It did to me because of the kind of the shape and the color of the house,
To an
Yeah.
to an
and then the
extent.
gnomes, and
The
also the mushrooms, right?
The Clouters, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't intentional. But
No?
then when that is your background and it's what you're drawing from, it's going to happen naturally.
Well, it could also be Pacific Northwest because being
Ah.
in Seattle, there's gnomes everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Well, the
mean, for
gnomes are
anybody
really
who's
in.
never been up here, you can find a gnome-shaped item just about like salt shakers and
Oh yeah.
flags. And at Christmas time, you have the gnome little figures that you can get.
Yep.
So,
They're really popular here too.
well, that's
David's-
why it might be just because we're in the
Exactly.
Pacific Northwest.
That's
David's got his sister-in-law has a gnome in their front yard called Norman, and that was the inspiration for this.
Yeah.
Norman the gnome,
Yeah.
yes.
Norman with a G. Norman the gnome.
Yeah.
Ah, our castle. I love
The
it.
castle.
All one
Now-
and one castle.
This, I think, is this also, you were mentioning the lettuce lattice?
That was where
Is this-
we came up with
The
it. yeah.
lettuce lattice. I didn't
This
mention
is
that.
part of the lettuce lattice, right?
This was, and so in this challenge, we weren't allowed to use Technic.
Mhm.
And so it was again on the lunch break. We'd built the base, and I had an idea of wanting to build this tall tower, but not really knowing how we were going to do it. So we went for lunch, and I just had this thought about, well, the biggest pieces that we have are 16 by 16 plates. How can we stack those on their side and be relatively stable? And I came up with this. Okay, 16 by 1 by 16 bricks, and then those girder pieces. How tall are they? And I looked them up, did some Lego math, and figured out how to build these
Mhm.
sections with 1x4 snot bricks, and threw them together pretty quick. And then it was Tim Howell, I think it's Timmy Owl on the social media. He came up with this term called the lettuce
He
lattice.
coined it, didn't he?
He did, yep. I said in another interview that I thought Dave Coletta, I think, had coined it, and
Mhm.
Dave actually messaged me, and he's like, it was not me, and he went through and found that it was Tim, and
Tim
sent me-
Howell?
Oh, what a
Yeah.
gem. Thanks, Dave.
Well, I've been asking, and when you get settled in Billund,
Oh yeah,
that if you want to do a tech tip about
maybe
the
that's it.
lettuce,
Yeah,
we would love to see that sometime.
Mhm.
because all those parts are packed away right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that you can't do that now, but there was another thing. I'm looking for it on my desk. People have done what they're called rulers made out of Lego, where you
Oh, yeah.
stack the 3 plates. And I used to have one on my desk, and of course, I wasn't prepared for this question. But so, do you ever use those as measuring tools too? Because built
but
one, and I've started using it more and more.
I will build them new every time I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I normally don't do them with plate. With plate, I'll do them with brick, so I know how many bricks high I go, and I'll
Right.
alternate between like yellow, orange, or yellow, pink often. Although I also have like just colors. Oh my god, I dropped it. I've got my own on my desk. I haven't packed it away yet. And it's like every color of 2x4 that I have.
Oh, okay. Nice.
As one big long thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that's not a 2x4. This is not a 2x4, but it is coming out in a set coming up. And then there'll be a new neon, or that violent yellow. There'll be one there. I do have some rare ones that I'm sure are not going to be rare in my future life. But like, bright green.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's not an in production element.
Okay.
I don't know what else I have that's rare.
So these, do you have a full collection of those in those colors, or are they just you wanted to have every 2x4 that you had of the different colors?
I've got quite a few in all these different colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's quite a collection you have.
I don't know if light nougat is in a production set. I've got what's this opaque white, a bunch of trans colors, old and new light yellow.
Right,
well, I will definitely. I found out about the this ruler thing from Gwyneth Cosbiel. Do you know Gwyneth out of LA?
I don't think I've ever met her, but like I know who she is.
Yeah, she did these different covers of the Beatles albums.
Oh, those are beautiful.
And she also presented those at Billund, so you may actually see them.
They're in Lego House right now. They're in the Masterpiece Gallery right now.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
But she's the one who posted it on one of her Instagram channels, and I said, I need to do that. And of course, I can't find my ruler now. Like you said, I just have to keep building one every time, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so let's continue on. We have, this is one of my favorites.
Thank you. I love
the
that
Marvel scene, and just the way you have, the monster and the character going into the monster, the teeth. I mean, all of those teeth that you've spent so much time on. It's just a fabulous, fabulous build.
This one has become a favorite of mine as well. Like it wasn't while we were building it. There's nothing against it. It was just another build. But that
we were really stressed that day, though. Like there was a lot. Like
there's a lot going on.
Everybody had like personal life issues this week. Like it was kind of
really
in the challenge where like people were just spiraling. Like it was a hard week, but it was a fun challenge. So it was kind of just this like conflict going on with everybody. But we did really good, I think.
I think so too.
Oh, you did amazing. I mean,
it was hard to make it look organic, and we
executed it pretty well.
Yeah,
you did. And when we talked with a couple other contestants, they mentioned that this particular build had to be super precise. And then if it you couldn't like go off script, and the only group that could was Yo-Yo and Crash, because it was like outside of the frame. So they had a frame of their particular build, and then they had to interpret something on the side because the movie hadn't come out yet. But that was everything else had to be perfect within the frame that you were given.
Yeah, we could have gone off a little bit. Everyone could have. And honestly, if we had gone off a little bit, maybe we would have done better, actually. Because one thing that, if you look at like that backdrop, we brightened the image because it's a very dark image. And that backdrop is accurate to the shadows that are in the scene. But I think
it looks a little sharp.
It looks weird. It would have played better if we had more of that blue and more of those clouds. Those clouds, Emily did those. Those are amazing.
Those are nice.
Yeah. And if we had more of those around the back of the image, like a little more organic or arched maybe.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing would have looked better.
Wow.
Less black, more blue and clouds there.
And this is just a great shot of the two of you too.
Oh yeah.
You look so happy in this shot.
We're happy to be done with that one.
Yeah, happy to be done. But like, no, I totally love this build now. Like there were challenges with it, but like I think we really pulled it off and executed it.
Yeah, this was
that platform,
one of my favorites.
The Obelisk was on. That was a real pain. Like we had all kinds of issues getting that to sit flat. And I don't think it's actually properly tacked down. It's on jumpers.
Oh yeah,
really?
That's proper, Emily.
Well,
I build like for my own mocks at home, I build way too much on jumpers,
Mhm.
like to the point where it's like I should just not offset the whole thing and put like jumpers under a base plate or something like that, or under like a series of plates. Because I'll go through and have jumpers over like the entire base plate, something like that, so everything is all offset. And,
so then this is like fun time. So
Yeah.
this was a good reset.
I was going to say this one was a lot of fun to watch, just the dynamics of all the teams,
Oh,
right?
and there's so much more fun that like just didn't get aired in this that I completely forgot about. Like, I know Crash said on a podcast, I don't know if it was your show, Naomi, or a different one, but he said like they cut out this whole part where Will brought everyone into the middle of the room, both teams, and was like, "Okay, today we're gonna practice some team building experiences. Like everybody do a human knot," and like that didn't work out. Like, let's do some trust falls, and like we were all falling on each other. And I think what happened was I was supposed to catch Crash.
Oh.
And then we were like, hang on a sec. And instead I ran down to the end of the runway and we did a dirty dancing.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember? I totally forgot about it until I heard him talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we didn't practice and we didn't have pads. I just ran and jumped and he lifted me and it was
wow.
And none of that.
Well,
it's sad
did not hear from Crash about that, but we did get some inside information that he's the only one who can give Stacy foot massages. So he did share that with us.
Yeah, absolutely no comment on that one.
So it was like, okay. Well, I mentioned, and this is why I was saying, we are not going to talk for 3 hours and 30 minutes, but all kinds of topics came out of our Yo-Yo and Crash conversation.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, he wasn't happy either that they cut his hair. There was several people who had hair issues on the show. And for him, it was just a shock. You know, that it's like right when he sat down in the chair and then they just cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not happy about that.
I think, you expect that though, going to TV. Like, essentially you're a canvas and they're gonna transform you. They're
exactly.
You, right? Like,
right. And then Jonathan Alconton, he dyed his hair blonde for the show, but they told him 2 days before he was supposed to get down there. So he spent 8 hours in a salon in New York getting his hair blonde for the show. And then Carrie,
they were redying his hair.
Actually, it's funny how many hair stories we got, but Carrie Wu and Austin both had mohawks, right?
Yeah.
And they look almost identical. But in Carrie's case, he never wears a mohawk.
No.
And they put so much gel in his hair that he had to get it washed every night, then they put it all over on him again. Austin, on the other hand, said, I don't want them to mess it up, so I'm going to do it myself.
Yep.
And he used wax instead of gel.
Yeah, so he would come in and get a comb from the hair team and then walk into the bathroom and do his own hair. I'm like, how'd you score that?
Yeah. Exactly. It was just interesting just seeing the dynamics of this. But going back to the build. So this particular one where you had there was one scene where the part of the build just sheared right off.
Oh yeah.
And what was going on in your mind when that was happening? Because I'm sure it was kind of scary for you, right, Emily, being in the car when that was happening?
I'm a pretty scary driver. That fell off because I was going around the corner so quickly and so lightweight that I was drifting and I actually leaned against the door or the side of the car and it fell right off. But we built them knowing that they were probably going to disintegrate at some point or get demolished on the track.
You just pedal to the metal. Just go for it.
The fact that they held up that well, I was impressed with. So it's so shocking that whole side of the car goes flying off. But like, in the moment, I was laughing. I was like, finally, something broke.
But like
what is not shown is the fact that we got out and did the end of the show. Jeff Gordon got in that car and drove it around and around and around until it was just the frame, like all the Legos off of it.
Every Lego brick.
I think they showed some of that in the preview.
There's a commercial of him driving and falling apart. But
it's in the preview.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing they didn't show in this episode is when Will was driving around and he FaceTimes Sean Hayes, afterwards he's like, guys, who should I call next? And I jokingly said to him, like, oh, call my wife.
Oh.
And like, he's like, yeah, okay. And like a producer must have said in his ear, yeah, do it. Yeah, do it. And so he FaceTimes my wife, Stephanie, who's at work. Oh yeah, she doesn't answer because she's at work. And then she gets a text. She's like, oh, hi, Stephanie. I'm here with David filming Lego Masters, and she thinks there's like something wrong, some emergency. So she like runs into a private office and answers the FaceTime, and it's Will Arnett. And like it was so funny. So of course we're working with the Stevens, and so Will takes the phone and be like, "Oh, Stephanie, do you know the Stevens?" And of course
She knows Yo-Yo.
She's known Yo-Yo as I've
Right.
like Emily and I've known Yo-Yo for years. And she's like, "I knew it. I knew they were there." So then finally, when we're finished building for the day and we get to go to lunch or whatever, or finish building for the morning, we go to lunch. She texts me. She doesn't say how excited she is that Will Arnett FaceTimed her. She's like, "I knew Will was there." That was what she was excited about. Sorry, I knew Yo-Yo was there. That's what she was excited about.
Yeah.
She's like, excited that the Canadians made it to the
not
the
to see
finals.
me,
Well,
not to talk to Will Arnett, is that Yo-Yo was there.
David, what we didn't know at the time was we were calling her at work, surprising her, "Hey, like we're on the show, we're still filming, we didn't get kicked off." She already knew about the finale.
Oh.
Wow.
I never thought about that before.
I never put that together. No. Huh.
Yeah.
So this is only a couple of weeks before the finale,
she
right?
probably didn't take it that seriously because she's like, well, producers from Lego Masters have already talked to me about David.
Right. Huh.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask her about that now.
Yeah, because they would have, I guess they would have been coming into town like the next day or something. I don't even remember. Oh no, we got another challenge, so it would have been a few days later.
You had the fountain challenge, and then the finale.
Yeah, the fountain challenge
eliminate anybody.
We try not to remember the fountain challenge.
Yeah, like despite look at that flamingo, that looks great.
I think our build was great, but that challenge just sucked the life out of us.
Flamingo with the flow, right?
Yeah, but like this challenge, I even said it to a producer, like this broke us. Like, what a terrible challenge you guys created for us. And they're like, well, you're the final four. We didn't make this water fountain challenge for the first episode.
Okay,
like,
yeah, but you don't.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Do anything like that in the previous seasons at all.
Yeah,
period.
This was a tough one. This was a really tough one. But you did. I mean, I love the build. I mean, it's really beautiful. It's striking from a distance. And you're right. When the leg fell off, I'm sure your gut was like going, no, not now, not
now. We finished the build, and like because of how they break it up, we did the judging the next morning. So that flamingo sat there for beauty shots, for testing, for water going in and out of it all day long, all night. It sat there. We were the fourth team to be judged. So it had sat there for so long. And right when Amy walks up and she's about to start talking, the leg falls off. I just started laughing so hard.
So did I.
Of course, it's that perfect. And they didn't. The judges didn't even comment on it. Thank God, because they had already looked at it pretty closely at that point.
Yeah, like,
I love that.
And there we are. We've got the top Canadian teams, all three of them.
We joked
into the final.
We joked so much. Like, wouldn't it be like hilarious or amazing if the three finalists were all Canadians?
Yeah, and they were
American show, and like. We didn't even really
I've
realize
been calling it U.S. North America.
I know. I do see that.
I love that.
I think I'm one of the few that calls it U.S. North America.
At some point, there's going to be a Lego Masters Canada, I'm sure.
I think there should be. Yeah, you guys have so many great builders up there.
David, you'll have to come back and be the host. Oh, look at our beautiful final build.
Look at this. These are the three final builds, and
honestly, they're so colorful. Like overall.
Yours is so striking, and actually, it's in the background for you too, isn't it? You have it with
David
you?
has a similar tower in the background, so that
tower
him.
A similar one that you've.
A similar, yeah. This is a bit
He's
bigger.
been working on that for years, and that was the inspiration behind
okay.
the one that I built there.
Okay, so that one's a legacy one.
The same concept, yeah, of like the twisting around and everything.
Wow. Well, I think for the world to see what you've done is truly amazing, and
that
I really
build is
love
at
this
New York.
build.
Is it there now, David?
I think it's there now.
I want to go see it more.
Oh, it's not open right now.
We had so long to do this build, and the whole thing about the families coming out is all I can see when I look at it is the things that we didn't accomplish that we really wanted to do. That big, tall, gray building was supposed to have a living wall.
A living wall?
A living wall,
as far as
like not real living, like Lego plants, but it was going to have foliage all over it.
Well, we went everywhere.
Very inspired by our castle, had so much like plant life on it, like it was all that.
And we wanted to have plants on the roof of like the colorful building, the twisty towers.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a bridge across the top. I think you said you wanted to do
a bridge between two of the levels too,
Yeah.
and a dome on this front,
This
the tan
beige
building
one
in
in the
front.
front was supposed to have a
I was going to
dome
build a
top.
domed roof on it.
Yeah.
And I started building the domed roof with 4 hours left after the families left. It's like I forgot how to put Lego together. This is such a great photo.
I
I
love
was
this
going to
photo.
say I had to show that photo. I'm trying to be mindful of the time here. I hope you don't mind. I'm going through these last slides really
Oh, yeah.
fast.
Yeah, so you can see our faces there with our families. Like
Yes.
they came out, and then we had to do those last few things we were just talking about, and we couldn't remember how to put bricks together. We just
No.
had to sit there and dry the tears out of
Yeah,
our eyes.
it's just so great to see your families there. And the fact that you were able to see them in person, because season 2,
That's right.
they had to do it all remote.
Well,
So
in
that
season
was-
3, they had to all come in from Canada, like passport
Yeah.
control and everything. Like,
Oh, that's
I was
right.
not expecting that when they had 3 Canadians in the finals. I'm like, well, they're not bringing our families on. There's no way they're going to be able to swing that. We'll do Zoom. Sure.
Wow. And this on the right, I want to thank you guys for indulging me by letting me bring my dog to. I get a
I
picture
don't
with
think it's us. I think you got to thank Aaron, the store.
Well, I
owner,
did
for breaking
thank
wheels there.
the owner too.
Yeah.
But just this is a very sweet photo, and I just really wanted to thank you for doing that. It's a nice memory I have of meeting the two of you in person.
Aw.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Aw. Well, I wanted to just say, like I said, I want to be mindful of your time because I know especially the two of you are so busy and well loved by so many people in the
Aw.
community. And wanted to just say thank you again for being on the show and for all that you do for the community and bring such
Thank you.
positive role models and such. So what are your next things? I know we already asked Dave about you're going to Billings.
I'm going
And
to Billings.
what about you, Emily? What are your plans next with this journey?
Next Lego related plans will be Brick Can.
Yes.
Yeah, I just I mean, I work in a hospital, so that's kind of, I don't go out much, but if anyone sees me, please stop me, ask me for a sticker. I've always got them. Hopefully I'll get to Billin this summer.
Summer? I thought September. I guess that's still summertime.
Yeah, that's still summertime.
Yeah.
I know David's wife wants me to come with them to move just to help manage all the children.
Oh,
So
well,
hopefully
All
that-
the children.
maybe they have another job at Lego that you might be able to fill, right?
maybe I'm going to work on my Danish in the next couple of years and just show up bilingual, and hopefully they'll just hire
Oh,
me.
that would be cool. So Remy says, we know you're not allowed to talk about it on the show, but now want to know which are your favorite
Oh,
sports
Eagles!
teams?
Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go,
What?
baby!
What? Uh-oh.
Okay, I
Well,
don't,
I
I
get
don't
rid of the
acknowledge.
Next week because I'm a Niners fan.
I don't acknowledge
Ooh.
that as a sport.
We might have to put our friendship on hold for a week, Naomi.
I
don't know. Yeah. Well,
I just don't want to talk about sports right now because all my favorite sports teams are frustrating me.
Well,
Yeah,
Eddie,
the Canucks are really sad.
yeah.
Eddie is a big Niners fan too.
No, I had a
So
hard
he
time.
just posted a Niners mock
Yeah.
that he did. So I think, I don't know if Remy, you were kind of vague about sports teams. Were you talking about just American football or gridiron football, however you want to phrase it?
Like
Or
Team Canada.
are you talking about hockey?
Hockey is the best. I'm just not happy about my hockey team right now.
Well, the Canadian World Juniors did good this year, so yay.
Oh man, and the World Junior Championships are in Gothenburg, Sweden next year, which is only like a
Ooh.
7.5-hour drive from Billund.
Oh,
Now
that
we're
sounds
talking
like
sports.
fun.
Let's go to Gothenburg. Great town.
Yeah, I think hoping to represent Team Canada in Sweden at Christmas time.
I'm in. Let's go.
Thank you,
I
Vivo.
got 3 weeks off at Christmas this year, David.
Oh, there you go.
So if you want to, thank you again, everybody, for being in the chat, for hanging out with us, Debo, Remy, Brick Jedi, Minifigure Collector, everybody else who might be lurking later too. Emily and Dave, thank you again. You are so such a delight to meet in person, and thank you for taking the time to be on the show too. And for anybody here who wants to follow Dave, Brick Lettuce on Instagram, not Lettuce Bricks, because there's another
Oh, that's right.
really strange Instagram account, which is not.
Which somebody
Not
tagged
him.
as me on Reddit, Naomi.
I know. You got to be careful. And then we have Emily Lettuce Bricks on Instagram with, of course, Marlo or Harlow. Sorry,
She's
Harlow.
so mad. I just woke her up. She's trying
Oh,
to
My
bite me.
goodness.
There she is.
Mad?
Yeah, mine is sleeping, so she's not going to make an appearance today.
Yeah, Harlow looks groggy.
She
Yeah.
was just biting me when I picked her up just now. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
no.
And
With
thanks
the-
everybody for listening to the Brickanisa Broadcast Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the stream. Even a comment helps. Thanks so much. And you can also send any fan mail to P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington 98103. So everybody, you've been great to hang out with. And thanks again. And as they say on the Brickanisa Broadcast Network, thank you, everybody. And may the clutch be with you. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.